can't believe this day has come. All right, let's do this. Hi friends, welcome to our show where we ask the what if question to picture a world we can help create together. If you've been tuning in every week, a big thank you. If this is the first time you've joined us, we hope you enjoy our company. So, today's episode is different. It is just going to be me reflecting on questions that we usually ask our heroes each week. We thought it'll be a fun way to end the season and also dive a little bit into what's next. Are we ready? Okay, let's get stuck in. The journey of the show really started sometime in May, and it was to satisfy my curiosity about the social change ecosystem. To try and understand how I can help the driven and passionate heroes who come and speak on the show. Thanks to the wonderful network of Teach for India, I got to reconnect with a lot of them, 4 of whom you've already heard from in the show. The social landscape is continuously evolving, and this year, more than ever, it brought to light the sheer resilience and dedication to serve by this entire ecosystem. The conversations that often get nudged out of in mainstream media. This is when it became important for me to learn what I don't know, unlearn what I already know, and relearn about the many different facets of this ecosystem. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering why make it a podcast. Well, number one, I believe podcasts are a brilliant way to learn something new without having to look at your screen. Listening to podcasts and deciding to start one are probably the 2 best things I have done for myself this year. And number 2, learning is sharing. I just wanted to share this off-screen alternative of learning with others who may also be curious about what is going on in the different social sectors. And probably in the process, encourage a lot more people to become podcast converts. Oh, and there's a number 3 as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. So over the last few months, I have learned so much. The conversations, of course, are a great way to learn about how the different teams are staying true to their vision, pandemic or not. An important learning for me is that education will need to play an extremely important role in shaping not only young minds, but also the old ones. And that should help us lead behavior change. This is education that helps our young children to coexist in harmony with our planet, to make them more informed and aware of working together to solve the next set of generational problems. And education is also awareness or information for adults to start working collectively as a community to rebuild our planet. In all the episodes, I think that was the underlying theme. How the need of the hour is to enhance education, be it in our schools, be it in our habits, our offices, our consumption choices. I also now strongly believe that we have it in us to become ready for the climate action that we need to take within the next decade. Once the wheels of locally contextualized information, knowledge sharing, and awareness are set in motion, we will be in a position to restore and regenerate our planet, but we need to act together. In a way that social change communication is 80% of a communication across all platforms. I read this book very recently, which defined empathy for me like never before. And it is really about calling on to the core of our shared humanity. If we can find that in us, for each other, nothing should stop us from coming together and acting for the benefit of our planet. Of course, there are many externalities like the government policies, corruption, absolute denial, but as more and more shared voices come together, the demand for better, wheels of motion can be accelerated. It all starts with education in some shape or form. I think we also learned so much from the other podcasts, which I would love to recommend. We'll leave a list in the episode notes. They have been an inspiration as well as motivation to give podcasting a go, and so far we are loving it. So remember the number 3 that I spoke of earlier? Well, that is the why of the podcast. The hope is that we build a community of change makers. This includes everyone, the heroes who come and speak on the show, our listeners, our supporters. I think whoever has shown a sign of interest or support or associated themselves to the show, they're already a part of this growing community. One that is built on trust and transparency, where we welcome all kinds of feedback and use that to support existing solutions or develop new ones. Get the conversations going around how each of us can contribute to at least one sustainability development goal. I do believe that SDGs are not just numbers and causes laid out in a colorful document. They should be our go-to guide to accelerate the wheels of motion towards rebuilding sustainably. And this is where the conversations in the show are so critical to linking back all efforts to at least one SDG. In this process, I've also learned to acknowledge that each one of us cannot have an affinity to 5 different SDGs. So perhaps we can pick one that resonates and work out on how we can contribute. I often hear people saying that an individual action will not move mountains. But I do believe that one action can easily multiply into 10 others, either talking about it, making a change, or sharing it in their wider circle. I heard this interesting podcast called Heaps Better, where in their first episode, they follow Greenpeace's Power Map method. And that is really about making a map of what, that is what you and I can do, where, that is where you and I can make a change in our areas of influence, be it in our households, be it at our workplace, or schools, universities, and also understanding why we care. So mapping out the what, where, and why. And I think that's why I also like using the word we a lot in this show, because immediately it makes it a collaborative and a collective effort. What's next for us? Well, we are taking the month of December to pause and think. I think it is very important to reflect, reassess, and come back with some more inspiring conversations in season 2. I've already spoken to a few more heroes and I'm waiting to speak to some more. Of course, we'll still be available to chat with on our social channels. Speaking of social channels, in no way do we expect our supporters and listeners to follow us on every platform. I am a strong believer of taking a tech break, and which is why we only engage on social media thrice a week. It gives us that time to recharge and engage in a more meaningful way. I would like to bring up Center of Humane Technology's work in this space. They're doing some brilliant work on raising awareness on rewiring our digital consumption, and also laying down some guiding principles to ensure that we are not robbing away your attention. So we do want to be mindful of that in all our communication. While we are prepping away for season 2, we have an exciting announcement for December. We'll be launching our hashtag 12 Days of Gratitude initiative on Twitter and Facebook. Why 12 Days of Gratitude? Well, I think before I get into that, it is important to acknowledge that each and every one of us has had a unique experience and coping mechanisms as a response to the lockdowns, the ongoing media coverage around COVID, and also now the vaccine race. Of course, also the uncertainty of what lies ahead. And our minds have this tendency to focus on the bad news. So 12 Days of Gratitude is really just wrapping up the year with gratitude for what we have now, so that we can begin 2021 by being more mindful and taking care of the things we have expressed gratitude for. We would absolutely love for everyone to join in and share what they are grateful for. There are no rules, there are no limitations. You don't even need to share it widely. Perhaps making a mental note or penning it in your diary, even saving pictures, articles, interesting stories is a great way to get this started. Since we are touching upon gratitude, I do want to take some time to say thank you to the flood of ongoing support we continuously receive from our family and friends. They have offered support in their own ways, by helping with the setup, by offering the knowledge and expertise and how the show looks, feels, and sounds, or just by spreading the word. The wonderful guest speakers who placed their trust in us and agreed to come on board just to let me pick their brain, without even having heard any episodes. Everyone has reinforced my belief that coming together as a collective has a true power in it. And I'm grateful to have taken these baby steps with all of them playing an equal part in building the show. And that is why I truly hope that everyone listening in right now participates in the 12 Days of Gratitude initiative in your own way, and also encourage your close ones to do the same. Our hope is that you are safe wherever you are and have moments of joy and gratitude to look back on as we step into the last month of this year. Let's not forget that no matter what lies ahead, we are all in this together, for each other. Feel free to write to us or just come say hi. We are always looking forward to hearing from you. For those of you who have newly joined us, you can find us on Instagram, where we are going through a rerun of the first season, so you don't feel like you have lots to catch up on. If you find any of the episodes insightful, valuable, or you feel like you're taking away something meaningful, do share it with your family, friends, or colleagues. That's how we continue growing our community of change makers and partners. Until next time, stay safe, take care, and wish you a very happy new year, a month in advance. See you in the next year.